and tell me why the bill is 1565, $1,565. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. My name is Chinenye and I make videos on education, personal finance and personal development for F1 and H1B visa holders in the US, so basically immigrants in the US. So before I go into this video, I want you guys to please subscribe. Just click that red button there that says subscribe, please guys, because I really need it and it doesn't cost money. Like, I know some people are like, oh, if I subscribe, how much are they gonna take from it? No, it doesn't cost money. It's free. It's your own way of supporting me, and it makes me, you know, feel motivated to keep on making these videos for you guys. It also makes me that, like, you know, when you guys come and you have questions and you have all of these things, you know, I am more than willing to answer, because it's like, yes, at least the good work that I am doing, it's not going unnoticed. So please subscribe and please like this video. It helps in the YouTube algorithm so that my videos can be recommended to other people to see. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about the cost of receiving like medical attention in the US. If you did not know, healthcare here is very expensive. I remember actually when I was coming, one of my mom's very good friends, I used to call her my aunt. I remember when I was coming, because she kind of like travels between like the US and Nigeria, and one of the things she told me was like, never fall sick in the States, like just never fall sick. And before, when I was coming, like they packed a lot of medications for me, like they packed, you know, like aspirin, like normal medications, right? They packed so much in my bag because it was like, you don't need to go to the hospital or whatever, because it is so expensive. So this video is gonna be like a story time and kind of like explaining the way the medical bills work in the US. Actually, this started when I was back in Nigeria. I have a medical condition, like it gets really bad. I'm not just gonna say it out on camera because, again, yeah, it's private, but it gets really bad. And one time when I believe it was like SS2, which is like the 11th grade here in the US, I had to stay back home for, I think it was at least 2 weeks, because it was so bad. Like, I never used to miss school, I never used to skip school, nothing like that, but I had to stay back home because it was so bad, right? They thought it was like eye problem. They took me from place to place. Like, there was no hospital I didn't go to. I was in so much pain, like every day. The thing is, I couldn't even cry because crying intensified the pain. Crying made the pain worse, right? So then I was young, so like my mom took me everywhere. This doctor would say, oh, this is an eye problem, right? They gave me glasses. The glasses made it worse. Like, so many things that they tried, right? And none of those things really actually worked. And then like it subsided. Then I came to the US, right? Because the thing is, it comes like whenever I have stress, right? So then I moved to the US, and like my first semester, if you guys have watched like my move here, the culture shock and everything, you will understand. My first semester, I was so depressed. Like, I was telling my mom every day I wanted to come back. I was depressed, I was stressed, it was just very bad, and it made that condition come back, and like with full force. And like my first semester, I was going to the hospital literally every day. I would go to the hospital, they would give me some meds, and like it wouldn't go. So I had to tell my DSO, which is designated school officer, who kind of put me, then they talked to like the higher authorities in the school, and they were like, this actually counts as like a disability. I mean, it sounds weird because again, I'm not like physically disabled or anything, but it was under like the unseen disabilities, right? So they had to put me on that so that my professors, because I was missing classes, it's not that I didn't want to go to classes, but I couldn't get out of the bed to go to class. That's how bad it was. My friend, she knows herself, she used to bring me food every night. Like, I couldn't go to the food service, I couldn't go to the dining. It was that bad. So now we're talking about the medical cost, right? So I when I go to the hospital, luckily for me, Berea has like some kind of, Berea has like a Berea hospital for the students, because remember, Berea is a free tuition college. So it also has like a hospital for the students that gives the students like free medical care and whatnot, right? So I go to the hospital, they give me like free medical care, but then the meds, I have to buy the meds for myself. And the meds, with the insurance I had, they were still a little expensive. They were like, one meds was like one bottle, one tiny bottle was like $100, right? So but again, it depends on the meds, and I was put on like 5 medications that I had to take daily then, so like every day. So that means that I also had to be refilling the medicines every time, because one would only like one bottle. Let me see if I can find the bottles. Okay guys, yeah, so this is kind of like how big like the bottle of meds would be. This one I've already finished it, but yeah, these are like the prescribed meds. So like it will have your name, and one bottle would only last me for like 1 month, because remember, I had to take it every day. Now this is where the whole hospital cost thing comes in. Not just the hospital, but healthcare in general. So when I was in my sophomore year, one time I was in class, my blood sugar was low. I didn't know, like, again, I was stressed, the condition was kicking in. I was just walking out of class, and I think I passed out. Honestly, I have no idea what happened. And they called the ambulance, and then the ambulance came. Like, as they're coming, they're like, you know, putting a, what is it called, IV, whatever that thing that they put, right? They put it on me. Like, they're like trying to figure out where to put the injections, because they said I didn't have veins. So like they were tapping, like they injected me 3 times here, injected me 3 times here, injected, like they couldn't find veins anywhere till they finally found. But by that time they had pierced me like, I think like 7-8 times, right? I get treatment from the hospital, and guess how much the ambulance was? It was $600. This was only like 5 minutes drive from like my school to the hospital that my school provides for us. And that was like one of the most expensive things. I remember then, like, just getting slapped 600 on the wrist like that. I was a college student, a broke college student, and it took me actually a long time to pay that off. And that was just for the ambulance alone, because remember, again, they had to take me, even though they took me to like the hospital in school where we used to go to, there was a hospital downstairs that was not the same. Like, there was the Berea clinic, and then there was the St. Joseph's hospital. And I went to the St. Joseph's hospital because at that point I couldn't go to Berea clinic. I can't remember what happened, why I wasn't able to go to the Berea hospital. And then since I was going to the hospital downstairs, the St. Joseph's hospital, they slapped me with more money. So now I have like $600 to pay off for ambulance, and I was like a broke college student. I mean, of course I was able to pay that off. Finally I graduate college, right? And after I graduate, I start working. This one happened recently. This one was the one that happened that I was just like, I have to make this video. Like, no one has to go through this. People have to know what they are getting themselves into when they are coming to this country. So last year the condition kind of like came back again, but I was lucky. It wasn't like during work hours, it was kind of like during after Christmas. So it started on the 28th. On the 28th, I'm like throwing up. I can't see, like I'm in so much pain. I can't cry, like I'm just on the bed, like I'm just on the, I cannot do anything. It was just so bad. So I'm like just lying down there on my bed, and when this started, it started by, I think it was 3 a.m. that day. So I am screaming. My roommate doesn't know what's going on. Like, I don't want to go disturb them, right? So I'm like screaming. I'm like, you know, screaming but holding my mouth so I don't scream out. I'm like screaming. I'm in so much pain. Now this is happening. It's like 3 a.m. in the morning. I can't go to the hospital at that point, right? As this is happening, I sleep off from the pain, right? From the pain, I just sleep off. Then I wake up, I think it was about like 8:30 a.m. I wake up and the pain, like it's still there, right? and I'm just like, I do not care at this point. I am gonna go to a hospital. Remember, I've always like tried to avoid going to a hospital just because I know how expensive it is. And the worst part is that I had just moved to Georgia, right? So I didn't really have like a doctor, like I didn't have like a designated doctor that I was using at that point. Like I had just moved to Georgia, so I didn't really have like a doctor, so I had to go to the ER, which is the emergency room. So I call Uber, right? My Uber, even as I get into the Uber is like, oh my god, you look like you're dying. Like the Uber is speeding, right? So that like they can be able to get me to the hospital real quick. At this point I still didn't want to bother my roommate, right? So I get into the Uber and we get to the first hospital. The first hospital turned me away and said they couldn't treat me, right? Call another Uber, they take me to another hospital, to the ER, and I get into the ER. This is like at the height of the pandemic. That was when the second wave of the pandemic came, either the second or the third wave of the pandemic came. And I get into the ER, like everyone is coughing, like even me, even though my situation was bad, like I'm looking around and I'm just like, oh my god, like everyone is coughing, everyone is like, people are so sick, right? So you know, I have my mask on, so I sit down there and I get to the ER by 9 a.m. Guys, I want you to be keeping track of the time because it's important. I get into the ER by 9 a.m. 10 a.m. nothing, 11 nothing. Finally by 12, that was when they called my name to come. It was to come do some things, right? I think it was to come check, I can't remember, was it like my weight and height and all of those things, right? I thought it was finally to treat me. It wasn't. And at this point I'm like that, like you know, everyone in the ER is like, everybody has their problem, right? So like some people are like screaming, some like it's just, some people are like, you know, doing their own thing. Me, I'm just like this, like I am half dead, like it's so bad, right? And when they finally called me to treat me, I think it was around like 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. I'm not very sure the exact time. So I go to get treated and they give me like a cocktail of medications because like one medication wasn't enough for what I was passing through. So they gave me like a medication. They wanted to you know, give me IV. Again, they did not find vein. I have no idea why, but they never find vein in my body. Like they want to give me an injection here or here. They cannot find vein. They have to like pierce me so many times before they find vein. So she tried to find the vein, she didn't find the vein, and that was why she then gave me oral, because I was like, I'm not like, if you're gonna keep piercing me and you don't find a vein, please just give me the medications orally. So I took the medications. Now after taking the medications, that was all, right? Like there was nothing else they did. And then they asked me for like my insurance and all of that, right? So I give them my insurance and everything. Guys, I get back home around 6 that day. Now tell me why a month later I get like bill. Of course, I mean, of course I'm expecting the hospital bill, and tell me why the bill is $1565, $1,565. Tell me why. For 1 day in the hospital, I did not sleep over. 1 day in the ER, I did not use the ambulance. Just 1 day in the hospital, and this 1 day was from like 9 to 6 p.m. I did not sleep. Like I was flabbergasted. I was like, Jesus, 1565. And do you know the very sad thing, when I had come to the hospital in the morning around like 9, I was in so much pain, but by the time it was like 11, 12, the pain had reduced. Like if the pain was on like 10/10 before, by the time it was about 11 a.m. or kind of like 12, the pain had reduced drastically to like a 5. So by the time they had given me the meds, the drugs to take, which was around like 2 p.m., the pain was like in 3/10. Like the pain had reduced, so they didn't really do anything much for me, if that makes sense. Like I was like, oh my god. I sent it to my mom. I was like, Mom, look, 1565, 1565. If you change that to naira, that is going to be, let me calculate it, that is going to be about 780,000 naira if you're using an exchange rate of 500 naira. So that was what those people slapped on me for just 1 day in the hospital. Not even the whole day, only about like 12 hours in the hospital. After getting that, my insurance people sent me a letter and told me that they were not covering anything, that I have to reach my deductible first. If you guys don't know what that is, there's like a certain threshold you have to reach in a year before your insurance can step in to start kind of like helping to pay off bills. So now it's like, why are you paying insurance when they're not really gonna do anything? I don't know if that makes sense, guys. I had to pay that $15.65 by myself. Everything, every single thing. Not the insurance did not give me a dime. They did not pay off anything at all. So after that, another bill comes in, which was about $250, and this one was from the doctor itself. I want you guys to understand what is going on. So there is like the bill, the fact that I went to the hospital. There's like the hospital bill for ER, which is $15.65, and then there is like $250, which is from the doctor itself. The total bill actually from the doctor was about, I think, $700 or $900. I can't remember which. I'm gonna insert it, but I was able to just pay about $250 because my insurance kind of covered the one from the doctor. So there was that, and then there was also my medication. Now the medication, they had assigned me like medication that I was supposed to be taking every 6 hours, and the one they had given me had only 24 like drops, like 24 meds in it. So if I was taking it every 6 hours, it was gonna last me only like 4 days. I spaced it and I took it like every 12 hours, so that it was gonna last me at least up to a week. And then I told my mom, and guess what? Guess how much that medication was? $150 with insurance. And it wasn't the only medication that I was taking. There was also other ones that I was taking. So by the time I had calculated all of those things, it was getting to like $2,000 for just one hospital visit. So I told my mom, and guess what my mom did? When my friends were coming back to the States, my friends that had traveled to Nigeria, when they were coming back, my mom just put the meds there, because my sister is also a doctor and she knows like the meds and everything. So they just put all of the meds there instead of buying it here, which is so much more expensive. So I have all of the meds that I need right now, instead of me going, because if I didn't have it, I would have gone every week, right, and be spending that amount of money, $150 every week on medication. I kind of like wanted to throw a light on how much healthcare is here. Healthcare is very, very expensive. If you follow some of the spaces, like there was something I was reading one time, I think it was Reddit, and I also saw some on YouTube. It was like some videos, and it was talking about, tell me how much America has messed you up when you travel to other countries. And literally everyone was just talking about the healthcare and how like they went to another country, and I think this girl said she went to another country, she saw the doctor and she asked how much it was gonna be, and they told her only like £8, and she had to keep, like, she kept asking and asking and asking.
It made you realize that America really messed you up.
It's not current, but when I was studying in the UK, one day I really needed to see a doctor. But I didn't know how to access care. I didn't know what my insurance situation was like, so I just went to work. And eventually I was in so much pain that I burst into tears, and my boss pulled me aside. And he was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "I really need to see a doctor, but I don't know how to access care here. I don't know if I can afford it." And he was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Go down the street to the hospital." And I argued with him, and he was like, "No, just trust me. Just go to the hospital." So I went, and I was like clutching my like student ID in my hand, my passport, and I was like trying to remember how much I had in my bank account, like checking. And I got called back to the doctor. He was like, "Yep, this is what's wrong with you. Pick up your prescription on the way out." And I was like, "I'm sorry, do you know how much it's going to be?" And he said, "I don't know, maybe £8. I was like, "I'm sorry, 8? He was like, "Yeah, I don't think it's ever more than that." The receptionist kept laughing at me because I didn't feel comfortable leaving without paying somebody. And I kept asking and asking if I owed anybody any money.
One hospital visit here to the doctor is, this is like a doctor that is your doctor, and with insurance could be about like $400 or $300, right? And if you're unfortunate to go to the ER like I was, and you know, spend like a day in ER, that's like $1,500. So that's kind of like the really dark side of healthcare in the States, which no one really tells you about. So that's why they say here, like, don't fall sick, basically. So I try to be like as healthy as possible and try to manage that condition. So yeah, this kind of like brings me to the end of my story, you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out, guys. Subscribe and share and like, and I will see you guys in the